Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Steel City Sports Report, where we talk everything Steelers, Penguins, and Pirates. I am your host, Brady Vini, and people, get used to this. This is the live stream here tonight. This is pretty much what you're going to get throughout the next couple of months here on the channel, because not much news going on right now, if we are being quite honest with each other. Of course, we're going to cover all three teams. We've got some Aaron Rodgers stuff to talk about because that seemingly is the only thing you can talk about with the Steelers anymore. We'll talk a little bit Pittsburgh Penguins and what they could possibly do this offseason. One thing happened last night in the NHL that could have massive effects for the Penguins, or at least I am delusionally hoping that it does. And of course, the Pittsburgh Pirates, we'll talk a little bit about them because they are the only team in season right now. So let's hope to God that they continue to continue on this trajectory they are on of being a half-decent team that is playing meaningful baseball well throughout the summer. So yeah, Steelers, then we'll get into Pirates, and then Penguins, followed by a little bit of extra Pittsburgh sports news on this and all that, not all that exciting Wednesday here. And then we'll head into the rest of our evening. Bucks back in action tonight at around 9:40. They are out on the West Coast. Before we officially get things started on this, probably a little bit quicker live stream here on this Wednesday. If you are new here, welcome to the Steel City Sports Report. On your way in, please hit that subscribe button. Don't cost nothing. Also, subscribe, or I should say, turn on notifications so that you never miss a thing here on the channel again, whether that be live stream or video. Like this live stream, share this live stream, and in the comments section, if you have anything on your mind related to Pittsburgh sports here this evening, please let your voices be heard. Get those comments in the comment section. Thoughts, questions, opinions, I can pop those up on screen just like this at a moment's notice. Already got a couple of commenters in here. Christine in here again. Welcome, Christine. Glad to have you back. Concepts, same as always. Some day one people, regular contributors in the comment section here on this Wednesday evening. Concepts here with the first comment of the day. Random thought. Rodgers on the 49ers team from 5 to 7 years ago would have won 2 to 3 Super Bowls minimum. He would fit Shanahan's system perfectly. You're going back to the Jimmy Garoppolo days, I believe. Who was still on that team? You had Kittle in his prime. Trent Williams just arrived there. You had a young rookie, Brandon Ayuk, a Deebo Samuel, or someone else, another wide receiver that I cannot think of right now. That defense was very legit back then as well. So, I mean, hey, Rodgers, I'm sure 49ers were probably one of those teams that he would have loved to have gone to in his career. Didn't he grow up a 49ers fan, or am I delusional? We know that Rodgers, California guy. We're going to get into that region, that California region here in a second. But yeah, I'm sure Rodgers would have loved to play for the 49ers in his career. Just didn't work out. He was making some big time money up there in Green Bay and was a staple of that franchise, following in the footsteps of one Brett Favre. 10 of you in here already on this Wednesday evening. Welcome in. I assume you all are here for the Steelers talk, and we are going to get into that right now. Of course, it has to be Aaron Rodgers talk because, Rodgers, he can, say what he wants, does what he wants, but he's going to always be in the center of attention no matter how much he says that, oh, I hate the media attention on me. And yeah, he still pulls stuff like this, just waiting and waiting, holding the Steelers on the edge of the cliff here, whether he's going to come back and play for them or not. But could a new team be coming into the fold here? I want the Rodgers thing to end. You want the Rodgers thing to end. We all want the Rodgers situation to end. But could it not be with the Steelers? We have to wonder, because a certain team closer to California in the Arizona Cardinals are now apparently in on Aaron Rodgers. Is Rodgers, feeling the same way about them potentially? I don't think so. I'll get to that here in a moment. But Rodgers and the Cardinals, a possible 1-year stand right there is now, not all that unthinkable. Rodgers, of course, out from California way. He's got connections to the coaching staff there in Arizona. I believe the brother of his former head coach, LaFleur, his brother, Mike, I believe, is now the head coach of the Cardinals. You got, I believe, who is it? Who is it? I got his name on the tip of my tongue. Hackett. That's it. I didn't want to say Hatchet. Nate Hackett, former, what was it? Jets head coach or something? Or no, that was Broncos. Got my former Steeler quarterbacks that are old and past their prime mixed up there. Nate Hackett, who is apparently goo over Rodgers. Rodgers thinks he's one of the best offensive mind in all of football. He is now apparently their OC out there. And you got, I believe, Kendrick Bourne. Totally forgot Kendrick Bourne signed with the Cardinals this past offseason, putting out there at Aaron Rodgers 12. Come on, we waiting on you. So there it is. We have reached a point here in the offseason, kind of like what it was last year, but not quite, to Rodgers holding out for another team, maybe to drive up the price a little bit. I believe, who was it? He was waiting for the Vikings last offseason, and that did not come to fruition at all. And now here it is, the Cardinals. Now, granted, they are nowhere nearly as good right now as the Steelers, and I'm not going to sit here and act like the Steelers are, a top-tier contender right now, because they aren't. But at least they aren't the Cardinals, that's for sure. The Rodgers thing there, I mean, the only conceivable way I would think of him going to Arizona, not, entirely worse, but still a worse nonetheless situation than the Steelers. The only way I can think of him going out there, to be honest, is to just be closer to home and maybe, reunite with an old friend in Nate Hackett. Not sure what sort of deep bromance they got besides what we know here on the surface. I still think it is going to be Rodgers into Steelers. Ian Rappaport on the Pat McAfee show says the same thing. He said today, I certainly don't expect Rodgers to sign with Arizona. If he's going to play, I expect it to be for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I love that rap sheet really put it in that tone of voice too. If he's going to play, meaning we don't know if he's still going to play. Retirement, of course, is still on the table. If he's going to play, I expect it to be for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So Rodgers apparently not wanting to go to the Cardinals per Rappaport. Does Rodgers even want to play for the Steelers? Who the hell knows? Brooke Pryor, Steelers beat reporter, she was on ESPN today saying that the Steelers moving forward right now are sticking with the quarterback room of Aller, Howard, and Rudolph. Of course, without Rodgers being there, so it doesn't seem like any other veteran quarterback besides Rodgers is going to be added. If Rodgers doesn't come, they're going to stick with the vet Rudolph and then the two kids, Will Howard and Drew Aller. And I just want it to end at this point. This is pretty much the new update, is that now a team other than the Steelers is at least maybe kicking the tires on Rodgers, or at least Rodgers has had a thought of that team in his mind. How can you not with, some old friends and coaches of yours on staff, and it's closer to home? But I don't anticipate it happen. I'm not sure if any of you are anticipating it happen either. We're still on the Rodgers timeline of being strung along here, like a dog on a leash. Rodgers is controlling the situation. As a matter of fact, Jerry Dulac, remember Dulac came out the other day and said, the Steelers are really starting to get annoyed by Rodgers and his indecisiveness. He's got until, I think, the first mandatory team activities to make a decision, or else the Steelers are going to have, some sort of, decision to make themselves and force Rodgers' hand. Well, Dulac, he doubled back on that today, and I read out there somewhere that, Steelers aren't going to do a damn thing. They're going to sit there and beg and wait for Rodgers like it's an episode of The Bachelor. They're going to wait for him to, give him that rose and, call it a day there. So still waiting for Rodgers. I'm not buying this Arizona Cardinals thing whatsoever. We'll see if any of that changes here in the coming days, weeks, months, because who the hell knows anymore with this guy. I just want it to end. I'm not, going to be talking about anymore, I'm pro Rodgers coming back, I'm anti Rodgers going back. I would at some point like to see the kids play this upcoming season, and I think you are going to get that one way or another, whether Rodgers, retires, does not come to the Steelers, or whether he, plays, and I think we all can agree he's not going to survive a 17 game season. That's, for damn sure there. So we'll see here with Rodgers. Still waiting on him. I just want it to end. I know you all want it to end either. Could end, by the 18th. I think that is when team activities begin, or believe it is the end of May, closer to the start of June. That is when minicamp is, if I remember correctly. So the Rodgers thing rolls on here. Cardinals are this year's Vikings. Rodgers probably not wanting to go there, besides to, hook up with some old friends. But yeah, we'll see if that ends up happening at all. What say you in the comments section? Let's go there now. New Rodgers news is that there is no news, pretty much here. Concepts here. Nice hat. Yeah, I actually do not have the hat on today. Got a haircut all that not long ago. So, yeah, it's actually looking quite decent today. Also, I do not really have a hat in this room to put on or, throw on last second before the countdown clock goes off here. Definitely missed Don Kelly in the dugout last night. Hope he and Skeens can turn it around tonight, says SCSR data. We are going to get into the Buccos yet, and going to be totally legit here. Did not stay up for the entirety of the game. I was completely tired, and the Pirates didn't really give us any reason to stay up for the game. You can pretty much watch that first inning and see the miscommunication in the outfield between O'Neal Cruz and Brian Reynolds that costed the Bucks a few runs, and be like, yep, we know where things are going from there. Bubba Chandler, he threw like nearly 30 pitches in the first inning last night. Just absolutely insane. Kid can't catch a break, whether it's by his own doing or the defense behind him. Christine, nobody has mentioned this, but could it be that the Cardinals just put this out there to get Brissett to sign an extension? That could be another option to this. But the thing is that do they really need to use that to get Brissett to come back? They got Gardner Minshew out there, and if you were to ask me, pick one or the other, Brissett or Minshew, I'd honestly go Minshew probably. And also, they just got Carson Beck, and they spent a high, the first pick of the third round on Carson Beck, and they didn't take the more toolsy or athletic guy and Drew Aller there. So I mean, if anything, this would drive the price up for, Rodgers in his asking price. I mean, you look at all the quarterbacks, they're making buku bucks. Kirk Cousins, who we all know is eventually going to be the backup to Fernando Mendoza, he's making $20 million a year. So I'd like to think that is at least a starting point for Rodgers in terms of the raise he kind of wants. I'm sure Rodgers is happy that these reports of the Cardinals being interested in him are out there, because that'll raise, the price in a bidding war for him up. But the Cardinals, I just don't see it. You got arguably two quarterbacks that I would take better than Brissett. I like Minshew better than Brissett, being honest here, and I like Carson Beck to get a look out there in Arizona Dome Stadium for him. Kendrick Bourne just killed any connection he could have had with Kyler. What a weird tweet. Yeah, weird coming from Kendrick Bourne. I thought it would have been another wide receiver that's been there a little bit longer, like maybe a Marvin Harrison Jr. Is Greg Dortch still there? I don't know. Makes more sense than anything. Talking about the Cardinals, maybe sending a message to Jacoby Brissett with that. Everybody mad at Rodgers, but he hasn't been under contract since the end of last season. He's an unrestricted free agent and doesn't owe the Steelers anything. This is on the Steelers. Agreed. I mean, I still, apologies if I don't, put it out that way. I just want it to end. I want the Steelers to, wipe their hands clean and go the other way. But that Jerry Dulac thing, sticks in my head, and that they're going to do nothing with this. They're going to continue to wait and do nothing. Any sort of, all right, Aaron, we're moving officially in a different direction. It's still holding out hope that Rodgers is going to take them to the dance. I'm still holding out hope that this, last pick for the dodgeball team, because Rodgers is the only quarterback worth a damn out there on the free agent market anymore. I'm still holding out that he's going to come and play for my team. Just how the mighty have fallen there with the Steelers. How mighty they have fallen. MVP Rodgers incoming now that he has weapons and hopefully an even stronger O-line. a lot of fans ignore this O-line was 8th in last year's rankings overall. Here we go. Yeah, they were 8th for about 14 weeks of the season, for being honest. And then the last, month of the season, the offensive line was pretty putrid. I mean, the Browns, they ate him up. Well, I shouldn't say ate him up. The Steelers focused all their attention to Myles Garrett, and that caused leaks in the line. And I mean, the less we speak about the Texans game, I think the better here. So I mean, Rodgers definitely does have better weapons, that's for sure. Anytime you upgrade from DK Metcalf, I mean, Calvin Austin, and take your pick between Valdez-Scantling and Adam Thielen, and you go from that to Metcalf, Pittman, and Jeremy Bernard. Yeah, that'll play well. Medicine Ball Minshew, F. Minshew for getting Pittman killed by KZ, which was a clean hit by KZ, by the way, no matter what the crooked NFL complains. Is that legit concepts talking there, or is that tinfoil hat concepts talking? Because I know I'm not defending the pass by Minshew. I'm not necessarily defending the hit by KZ as well. I mean, that was ugly. And I still did Pittman get up from that? I'm trying to remember back to that hit now. Did he get up and walk off the field? Because his whole, neck snapback, his feet nearly touched the back of his helmet. That was such an ugly hit. DeMonte Casey, by the way, where's he? Is he still with the Browns? I'm trying to remember there. Trying to keep track of all these obscure Steelers DBs that moved on elsewhere. You had KZ, he went and had a hot stint with the Browns. You had, I believe not too long ago, Arthur Millette. He then went to the Baltimore Ravens, and then you got the newest guy, Kyle Duggar. Totally forgot until I heard it on the radio today. He is with the Cincinnati Bengals to be safety with them, and Dax Hill and whoever the hell else is left in that Bengals secondary. Browns quarterbacks, our last picked for kickball, actually. Rodgers just isn't signed yet. Yeah, true. You got me there. I mean, Shadur Sanders, Deshaun Watson, and who is it? Taylon Green. Who else they got? Dylan Gabriel. That is just a circus of a quarterback room. You got Deshaun Watson, one of the worst trades and contracts for a quarterback in NFL history. Shadur Sanders, who is severely overhyped beyond belief, just because he's got the whole moxie thing and all that. It don't mean a damn thing. He is much worse than what people glaze him to be. Dylan Gabriel is 5'2", and Taylon Green, the complete opposite. Dude's like 6'6", and he can run like the wind, but can he throw? College, did not see much of that. DK and who? Snoop Dogg meme? Who? I know which one you're talking about. The one with him on in the radio booth. Who? Yeah, that's what the Steelers wide receiver room was last year. And I apologize. The Marquez Valdez-Scantling, keep forgetting we gave him the new name, Marquez Valdez-Smith, because it was MVS and Jonnu Smith and Arthur Smith. They were the guys taking it on the shins last year for the Steelers offense. Derpy in here. Welcome back, Derp. I'm be real here. I'm so disgusted with the direction of the Steelers. I don't even want to talk Steelers. I completely understand there, Derpy. I mean, when's the last time you could say that the Steelers and the direction of the organization is distantly, I mean, very, very distantly in third place in terms of closest to competing for a championship compared to the other two teams in town? I mean, the direction of the Penguins right now, even though they just got, bounced in first round of the playoffs, it's looking up. You've got, the core players. Malkin, please pray to God that Malkin comes back. I'm going to say that on here at least once a live stream until it happens. Crosby, Erik Karlsson, even Chris Letang for the last few games in playoffs. Those guys are still producing at a level that is amazing compared to their ages. And you've got the, little nucleus of a young core, promising core to, hopefully grow and be the next group to take the Penguins to new heights. Ben Kindle, Igor Chinakhov, Harrison Brunick, Sergei Murashov. I'm probably, overly hyping up this guy, but I love the talent and I love the size. Will Horkoff in college. Mikhail Ilyin in, AHL, just came over from Russia. So, yeah, the Penguins, they're on the fast track with the pieces they currently have and the pieces that they have in the future, draft picks and money and all that. They're set up to, make some noise heading into the near future. The Buccos right now, I mean, they're the team most likely to win a playoff round next. You got the best pitcher in the world, Paul Skeens, the best young player in the world, Connor Griffin. Griffin last night, pretty much the only guy on the team worth watching in that debacle with the Diamondbacks. And some other guys are playing well this year. Brandon Lau, Ryan O'Hearn, hopefully, more steadily and consistently here soon, Marcelo Zuna. Those guys, quality acquisitions. Brian Reynolds getting some lineup protection. The fielding is a very, very different topic, but Brian Reynolds doing better with the bat. He's starting to get streaky. You got O'Neal Cruz tapping into some of his, elite potential more. Defense still a question mark. He and Reynolds out there is an absolute gong show, but the Bucs look good, and the pitching staff, they're young and they got more on the way. Seth Hernandez, all sorts of that stuff. So, I mean, and then you look at the Steelers, Pens, they're set up well for the future. The Buccos, they're set up well for now and I think into the future. And Steelers pandering for a 44-year-old when the season starts, a 44-year-old to be your quarterback. You brought in a facsimile of Mike Tomlin and Mike McCarthy, a dude who does decently in the regular season, but when playoffs roll around, good luck. And an aging defense with, just a handful at most, which isn't all that lot of, guys to rely on now and in the future. Cam Hayward's getting older. TJ Watt, step year after year, step back after step back in terms of his production. You got, who else? Jalen Ramsey, no longer an outside man-to-man island corner. I mean, who are your young guys to build around on the Steelers right now? Especially on offense, too. Trying to think. Jalen Warren, even then, he's not all that young. Couple guys on the offensive line. That's it. Jeremy Bernard, I love Jeremy Bernard, but I'm not, going to push his ceiling past being a high-end wide receiver, too, at this point. Couple of quarterbacks, Aller and Howard, both mid-round, day 2, day 3 picks that aren't, haven't proved yet that they are legitimately going to be the guy. Defensive side of the ball, Joey Porter Jr., Nick Herbig, both who are due big boy contracts. Herbig, a question mark if he'll even get that contract with the Steelers. Things not looking good. Steelers are in a distant third place right now for, future outlook among the professional Pittsburgh sports teams. Hoping I'm getting proved wrong here. I'm hoping that, I'll get proved wrong. 5-2 is being generous for Dylan Gabriel. Yeah. MV Smith. Yep. MVS. Both versions of the concept. Minshew threw an awful ball and Casey made a clean tackle. The injury was caused by Minshew being awful. You have to tackle and pass breakup. So it was unavoidable. I get that. Also, could Casey have made a play on the ball there at the time? I think that is the case as well. Pittsburgh sacrificed the Penguins and Steelers for the Pirates' success. Yeah, that's definitely the case. I mean, I wasn't going to predict, if you were to rewind a calendar year here after, the Pirates had an absolutely horrendous offseason. They had Skeens, Griffin, had yet to develop and shoot up through the minor league system into being this, Mike Trout level prospect. I would not have guessed, going back a year ago. If you were to ask me next 5 years, who do you have most faith in to, win in the playoffs or anything like that in Pittsburgh sports, I would have said, the Penguins or something because I believed in Kyle Dubas's rebuild. Pirates would have been last on my list, but hey, gotta love them Buccos. They're still going along. Malcolm prayers up. Yep, indeed. Vegas in here. Welcome back, Vegas. The sky and ceiling. How you feeling? Not sure what that means there. Interesting that the Ravens have 5 or 6 QBs on their roster right now. LOL, WTF, and Minter says they might get a couple more. LOL. Maybe they are only counting Diego Pavia as half of a quarterback. Yeah, you look at Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray looks, small as a quarterback. Same thing with Bryce Young, but man, Pavia. No comment there. No comment. Pavia under center looked hilarious. So little. It looks like he was ready to toss his. Oh my goodness. How about Vega Ioane? I want to see a picture. I'm not sure if there's anyone out there on the internet. I want to see Vega Ioane standing next to Diego Pavia, just to get, a size comparison there. That'd be hilarious. I like to think as negative as possible during the offseason. So when the season starts, I'm pleasantly surprised. I think we all tend to go for that sometimes. Set your expectations so severely low that you cannot be disappointed. It's a shame that the 6-time Super Bowl champion, once, proud franchise of the Pittsburgh Steelers, arguably the greatest franchise in the history of the NFL. It's a shame that, we are setting expectations so low for them anymore. I mean, hell, we're going to celebrate if, this Aaron Rodgers thing gets resolved like it's insane. So, yeah, I mean, just cannot believe it. Steelers are at this point. 38-year-old defensive tackle taking up most of the money, and fans still defending TJ Watt at 32 with his BS contract instead of value trade. I'll agree with you on the TJ Watt part. I mean, Watt looks, more and more like he's heading towards being a severe shell of himself. Cam, though, I'm not going to bash Cam yet because, the production he gave last year, that still is fairly decent for the money he's being given. But Watt, however, $41 million to, not even get half the production from when you were a year in, year out DPOY candidate. Yeah, not too enthused about that. I'm very upset that we drafted Drew Aller, and I don't want to talk Steelers at all. I'm all right with drafting Drew Aller. I'm sort of, in the middle here. I mean, I'm not one of those Steeler fans out there where you have an allegiance to Penn State or Ohio State, and you're, either loving the pick, Drew Aller's the next best thing. He's the best thing since sliced bread. And I'm not, one of those people that are immediately squishing the kid. Can I see all sides of that Drew Aller thing? Yes. Was it worth a 3rd-round pick? Yes. 76th overall? Questionable. I do think the Steelers got scared a little bit that Carson Beck went off the board so early. But, hey, Steelers made up for it. If you were to reshuffle around the draft picks in the 3rd round for the Steelers, they actually turn out to be all right. Let's just say, hypothetically, Aller and Jennings Dunker were switched. Dunker at 76, I would have been happy with, and Aller at, 96 they traded up? That would have been all right by me too. 2-15, both wins are against the Ravens. That would be interesting. Honestly, no. I'm going to go with I want 6 wins. Or I want at least 5. I want to sweep Cleveland too here. If we can sweep Cleveland and Ravens, how we do against the Bengals will be, the least of my worries. If we would sweep Cleveland and Baltimore, but lose every other game, I could, live with that here, honestly speaking. 7 of you in here right now. Got something in my eye trying to dig out, so ignore that. Like I said, going to be a bit of a quicker show here today. Going to move along here into some baseball now, and then shortly after that, hockey. Talking about the Pittsburgh Pirates, and yes, they are the only team in season right now, so they are going to get a bigger spotlight. The only team in season right now, so they're going to get a little bit of a bigger spotlight than usual here on the channel. And last night, see the score on your screen right there? Not the Pirates' night whatsoever. They go out on the West Coast. They had an off day yesterday, only to get pounded early and often by the Arizona Diamondbacks. You could see where the game was going from a mile away. First inning, Bubba Chandler ends up throwing, around 30 pitches. There's a ball in the outfield that lands between Brian Reynolds and O'Neal Cruz that should have been caught for the final out of the inning, but it was not, and that wound up being another run. Bubba Chandler not his best night whatsoever. 5 innings pitched, 2 hits, 2 earned runs, 6 walks. Yikes and a half. 4 strikeouts on 92 pitches. Chandler, after, being hit around in the first inning, did not give up a run. But, I mean, man, walks have been an issue with him. And it looks like that's just going to be something that we're going to continue with. Like, to make sort of a hockey reference here, what's the one thing that, we give Evgeny Malkin a ton of what about, yet he does everything else pretty damn good. Turns the puck over recklessly sometimes, doesn't always hustle. I think that's going to be a thing with Bubba Chandler. He's got some, elite tools to his game, but won't be always able to locate it. He'll walk a ton of guys. I'm not sure if, that's going to be anything that's going to improve with him, moving forward, if we're being honest here. Walks have been an issue with him in the minor leagues. It's been an issue with him now in the major leagues. And dare I say this, call me crazy, but do we got to have a conversation about potentially when Jared Jones gets back, hopefully by the end of this month, given his, recovery process. I think he pitched again today, did Jared Jones in AAA. Not sure how he did. Do we need to have a conversation about Jared Jones possibly taking the role of Bubba Chandler in the rotation? I mean, you got 3 guys in your rotation that are as good as set in stone as you possibly can be right now. Of course, Skeens, Keller, and Braxton Ashcraft. He's arguably been your second best pitcher besides Skeens this season. And then you got Carmen Mlodzinski and Braxton Ashcraft. And Mlodzinski, credit to him. I think he's, best suited for a, long-term or a stretch reliever type role, but he's been, putting up a fight and hasn't gotten, blown out in any of his starts, at least any that I can remember. Bubba can't say the same thing. Maybe he needs that, little bit of a wake-up call, a send out to the bullpen, come in when, Donnie Kelly calls you. Maybe, he'll need that wake up a little bit while he works on his command. I don't know. Just a little bit worried about Bubba Chandler. Still young, still going to give him some time here, but, I mean, walks. Yikes, such an issue. Bleeding was not going to be stopped, though, for long last night. Johan Ramirez came in, and he struggled. Pretty much the Buccos bullpen was just grasping at straws, trying to keep the game in reach, and final score wound up being 9-0. Like what you see there. Only thing really worth exciting, really worth the excitement last night, Connor Griffin. I mean, dude hit an absolute moonshot out to center field, which was a double. It hit just below, Chase Field out in Arizona. They don't have, an actual area for the ball to land out there in center. They got just a big wall, and it has to hit above the yellow line out there. Griffin, maybe 6 inches from hitting that line, just an absolute moonshot out to center. That is probably the longest double he will hit in his lifetime. And yeah, final score 9-0. Going to give the Bucks a bit of a break last night. I mean, they're coming off that outstanding Red series where they dominated them. I still want to give them a chance in this Diamondbacks series because the D-backs are a good team. I don't care what their record says. I will give them a break for last night. There was no Don Kelly for the Bucks last night. He got suspended for 1 game, and why he got suspended 1 game was for that little incident in the Red series where reliever Chris Davinsky threw at Sal Frelick of the Reds. Davinsky got 3 games. I think that got rescinded to 2 if I heard what I heard correctly earlier today. And Davinsky got fined, but I think it's some stupid rule in baseball where if your pitcher intentionally, or you think intentionally, throws at a player, then the manager automatically gets a game suspension along with it. I did not know that rule, or I forgot about it. Just absolutely dumb. Donnie Kelly, got a 1-game suspension last night. It served. He'll be back in the dugout tonight. Just don't like it whatsoever. I'm not saying, if Kelly's in the dugout last night that the result of the game changes, but might not have been as worse as 9-0. That's for sure here. So we'll see what happens with the Bucks tonight. Not sure if there is any lineup out for the Bucks. I do not see so. Probably I'm not going to get a Buccos lineup until after the live stream here tonight. First pitch again will be at 9:40, so another late night of Buccos baseball, and they'll play at 4:25-ish, something like that, tomorrow, and then a weekend series with the San Francisco Giants. That's going to be an even later start time for two of those games at 10:15. So Buccos, they lose last night, but let's hope that they can, get back on the right track tonight. It's Paul Skeens Day. Happy Paul Skeens Day to all of you who celebrate it, Skeens and Keller pitching the last two games of this series. I would like to think that the pitching matchup is going to be in the Buccos' favor there. Going to move over from baseball into hockey, ladies and gentlemen. No real outstanding news surrounding the Penguins. The last thing, worth note talking about the Penguins was, of course, something we talked about on Monday, that being Evgeny Malkin and his representation are reportedly going to contact general manager Kyle Dubas and have a sit-down meeting to discuss Malkin's future. I'm hoping that that meeting goes outstandingly well, because I have that feeling in the pit of my stomach. And Josh Yohe, who reported that the meeting will take place, I think he's pretty tied in with Dubas. I'm hoping that Malkin and his representation are able to change the mind, I should say, period, of Kyle Dubas, because I think Dubas is not too keen on keeping Malkin around, sticking to his plan of a rebuild here for the Pens. And do not think that Dubas predicted Malkin to have the season that he had last year. I would bring Gino back in a heartbeat. He's not blocking anybody. He's, still producing, was in the team lead for points per game last season, and you're not going to get many 61-point scorers in free agency for $5 million this upcoming off season. So it's a no-brainer for me and for every Penguins fan to bring Gino back, but not sure if Dubas is going to, make a knee-jerk reaction and bring Malkin back because of that good season. Anyways, not talking about Malkin. The other thing that I want to talk about, this could relate to the Pens, or at least I am probably delusionally hoping that this affects the Pens. Last night, the NHL draft lottery took place, and the Penguins, they were not in the lottery because they made the playoffs, so they did not get a chance at the number one overall pick. And instead, the Toronto Maple Leafs, I think they started the night with like a 3% chance or something of being, winners of the draft lottery. The Maple Leafs, which, not going to lie, the Maple Leafs, the New York market of the hockey world, the mecca of the NHL, them getting the first overall pick, even more news to talk about in that big city. Yeah, something's fishy there about how the Maple Leafs lucked into this. Anyway, the Leafs, they get the first overall pick, and they are shoo-ins to draft the next generational talent in Gavin McKenna from Penn State. And with that, I wonder, could that put more into reality the chances of the Penguins getting the man you see on your screen right now, that being Austin Matthews, former first overall pick from 2016. Matthews, not sure if he's going to be around in Toronto come next season. I mean, the Maple Leafs, they've been going through it the past couple of years, not being able to go over the hump in playoffs. They chased their other superstar forward, Mitch Marner, out of town, ran him out of town all the way to the other side of the United States in Vegas, and the Maple Leafs didn't even make the playoffs last year. And Matthews, you see on your screen, he got hurt, did not finish the season, but still, you got a generational talent in Gavin McKenna coming in, Austin Matthews making a ton of bucks. You got to wonder if he's, going to be the next guy to get, pitchfork chased out of town, getting paid a lot, hasn't shown a whole lot of production on the ice. I think it goes beyond one man up there in Toronto, but I got to wonder, could Matthews even be more on the market than what may initially be thought here? You see there, Matthews unsure if he'll return next season. I know one team that'll take him, and funny enough, there's the comment right there by this Dalton fella. Come and play with a real winner and learn something. would love for that to happen right there. Sidney Crosby hooking up with Austin Matthews. I think this would be a pretty good move for the Pens to make, if we're being honest here. The only thing that is blocking it is what the Pens would give up in a trade. You're talking about a first-round pick, maybe multiple first-round picks, going back to Toronto in a trade for Matthews. Maybe a young guy or two, like a Ben Kindle, Harrison Brunick package. I'm hoping, Kindle would be off limits. You can sub out Kindle with like a Will Horkoff or something. And yeah, I mean, I don't think the Penguins are going to be willing to give up that much in a trade for Matthews, but I love the idea of bringing in an Austin Matthews, because then you have, in my opinion, the perfect past, present, and future setup at the center position if you are the Penguins. You can still have Sid as your top line center for the next couple of years. You bring in Matthews, take the pressure off of him, put him on the second line. He can, make some hay there as your line 2 center. And then hopefully you keep Ben Kindle in the trade and he can, still be your third line center, eventually upgrade to a 2 once Crosby retires someday. And, maybe Matthews, breath of fresh air, revitalizes his game. Now, I'm not sure how he'll be after the injury, though I think he'll be able to recover. Matthews to the Penguins, I'm all here for it. Pens can do it. Just has to, be a matter of finding the right trade, assuming that the Maple Leafs want to deal with Kyle Dubas in the first place, their ex-GM. But the Pens, they definitely got the assets to acquire a Matthews, and they got the money to do so as well. Right before today, Penguins, I think, had a good bit over $40 million available to spend this upcoming offseason. And now they apparently will have more, because the NHL salary cap went up by $8.5 million today. So now the salary cap ceiling is $104 million. The floor, $79.6 million. The Penguins, first in the NHL, according to Spotrac, when it comes to projected salary cap space. They will have $45 million to play with per Spotrac, one of the better money calculating websites in hockey. So, Kyle Dubas, please do your thing. Make a big splash this offseason. Even, if it's a Robert Thomas, I'll live with that. I don't think Jason Robertson is all that likely. Matthews, I mean, probably even more unlikely. But hey, I'm going to, believe. As long as there's delusion, there is hope. Ain't that the meme saying going around nowadays? Matthews to the Penguins. Who says no? I, for one, am a big yes. Let's see you in the comments section. 4 of you still hanging around in here. Going to begin wrapping up the show this evening here in a moment with extra Pittsburgh sports news. Real quick, back to the comment section. $8.5 million increase in the hockey salary cap. Tells you that hockey, even though they do a piss poor job of advertising their game and, making sure that the stars are highlighted, it is great to see that the salary cap continues to go up, and now it is officially above $100 million. Cannot wait for, Vegas or someone to manipulate that. I believe Vegas, they have the least amount of cap space room. They're at like $3 million as it sits right now. So Penguins got a big offseason ahead of them. Do not disappoint. Back here to Twitter real quick. Want to see if anything else is going on right now that we have not talked about, that I did not have on my bingo card here this evening. Seeing Nick Moraldo of the Pat McAfee Show react to the Penguins salary cap space. He put the money man, Ted DiBiase. Money, 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 money. Yep, that is definitely what the Penguins got. This right here, outside the sports realm, but it is in Pittsburgh, and it is absolutely horrible. Apparently, a car went off the side of the Route 65 to Fort Duquesne route bridge today. Bad car crash in Pittsburgh. I believe that is right around Acrisure Stadium, PNC Park area. Yikes. Prayers to those involved. Looking here. Also, you want a picture perfect example of how a change of scenery can do for a guy. Remember how much crap, just sticking here with this Austin Matthews thing for a second. I believe Matthews, change of scenery. He comes to Pittsburgh. I have a feeling he can explode, back into his height of his powers, superstardom, because his buddy, Mitch Marner, left for Vegas. Toronto fans, which they are just an absolutely hellhole media and fan base outlet there, Toronto, they got on Marner in a half last year for his, lack of production in the playoffs. Look at Marner now out in Vegas, 9 points in 7 games. He is doing quite well. Hoping that the Penguins can see that and act accordingly to get their guy in Matthews. I'm sure Dubas would love to have Austin Matthews back. I'm holding out hope that is the ideal landing spot. Looking more here. Not something that I plan on talking about, but this Mike Vrabel, Diana Rossini thing, it is getting even more crazier. Vrabel and Rossini rented a boat together, a private boat together, back like 5 years ago when Rossini was pregnant, and the kid she ended up having after that, she ended up naming Michael, and apparently Rossini's husband is now looking for a paternity test. Yikes. Looking here. Also, watching the draft lottery, back to the NHL here, feel kind of bad for the Vancouver Canucks. I mean, they got shafted. They had a 18% chance, and after they picked a couple of numbers, they had, I think, a 25% chance at the first overall pick, and they had, I think 3 different numbers out of 15 they could have, gotten to get the first overall pick, and they ended up getting nothing. They didn't even get the second overall pick, too. San Jose jumped up to number 2, so the Canucks, they picked 3rd. That is absolutely a travesty if you are part of that fan base. Seeing if there's anything else here. Not really gonna see it now, so with that, let's get a move on here, ladies and gentlemen, and wrap up today's show with some extra Pittsburgh sports news on this Wednesday, May 6th. Happy post Cinco de Mayo day. Back into football here for 1 second, talking about the Steelers rookie draft class. Congratulations to Drew Aller and Jeremy Bernard. They were named to the NFL PA Player Association rookie premier list for 2026. I think, isn't that sponsored by Panini or something? So they're going to be getting some fancy cards and stuff for them done. Hopefully both men live up to the potential that they have. Also, some other rookies here for the Steelers. This is interesting. No, the Steelers, by the way, call me a guy complaining about a whole lot of nothing here. I'm still kind of pissed that we haven't got any sort of numbers announced for what these rookies are going to wear. I know it's insignificant, but still, that's kind of weird. Steelers did officially load up the rookies to their website. This interesting. Shout out Nick Farabaugh for pointing this out. Riley Nowakowski, the Steelers tight end that they drafted in the 5th round, I believe. Anyway, Nowakowski, not all that high in my rankings. He was listed straight up as a fullback on the Steelers website. There's no sort of fullback / tight end designation for him. So Steelers view him as a guy in the backfield more so than a tight end. That makes the Jaheim Bell signing from the other day all that more understanding. And Eli Heidenreich, Steelers 7th round pick. He is getting the / treatment. He is listed as a running back and a wide receiver. I would love for the Steelers to use him that way. Nowakowski, we'll see if he ends up developing himself, into some sort of flexibility in terms of positioning. This outside the Steelers, but it still is interesting enough. Negotiations between the NFL and NFL Referees Association. It is continuing to progress, and it has even reached a point where a ratification vote on a new agreement between the two parties will take place Thursday night for the, I believe, the Referees Association. So maybe not all hope is lost for referees to, be a part of this upcoming NFL season, and then we won't get replacement refs, and we won't get even more horrendous calls than what we already see enough on a weekly basis. Last thing here for the Steelers, a couple of congratulations. Congratulations, Mason McCormick. He tied the knot. Hopefully that will elevate his game. Not sure how, but just hoping that it will. And Cam Hayward. Happy birthday, Captain Cam. I believe it was 38. Someone pointed out in the comment section, 38 years old. Hayward turned. So hopefully he continues aging like a fine wine. He certainly looked that way last year. Let's see if the Walter Payton Man of the Year will continue to get better with age. Speaking of birthdays, one more Steeler birthday, 46th birthday today for Ike Taylor, probably the most underrated corner in NFL history. Did not have the, most elite production, just 14 interceptions in 12 seasons. But I'm going to talk about a dude that was put out on an island and, hushed the opposing wide receiver for the entire game. That was Ike Taylor, sort of Joey Porter Jr. in that type of mold right there, two-time Super Bowl champion. Speaking of birthdays, moving from football birthdays to hockey birthdays, Ricard Raquel, his birthday yesterday. Congratulations to Mr. 6'7". Also a birthday today, Jake Levanovage. I'm hoping that I'm still pronouncing his name correctly. He, the North Dakota prospect, or South Dakota, can't remember which Dakota he played college hockey, came and played for the Penguins in their last game of the regular season. Maybe he is a part of the future, Jake Levanovage, as is some guys down in Wilkes-Barre, the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Baby Penguins. They are having themselves a good time right now. Last night took a 2-1 series lead in the AHL playoffs over the Hershey Bears, the minor league affiliate of the Washington Capitals. The Penguins, a comeback effort with about 3 minutes left in the third period. Avery Hayes scored a game-tying goal, and then it was Rutger McGroarty. Really hoping that kid figures it out and is able to carve out a spot for him moving into the future. McGroarty, a redirect game winner in overtime to win 4-3. The Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins continue to roll along, as is the Wheeling Nailers, the ECHL affiliate of the Penguins. I believe they are in the second round of the playoffs as well. Last thing here for the Penguins news today, former Penguins general manager Jim Rutherford looks like he is going to call it a career here within the next few months after the NHL draft lottery last night. Rutherford, the GM of the Vancouver Canucks, which, I mean, yeah, again, yikes for Canucks fans and their team. Rutherford saying he will step down from his role as Canucks president of hockey operations after the draft here this summer. He said he will move into a advisor role and an alternate governor role with the Canucks. So going to be behind the scenes. No more day-to-day operations for Jim Rutherford. If that is it for a career for Jim Rutherford as a front office man and general manager, congratulations, Jim. Did a hell of a job. I mean, getting the Penguins those 2 Stanley Cups, you were a big part of it. And best of luck in not retirement, but your next phase of your career. And wrapping up here, ladies and gentlemen, with some Pittsburgh Pirates news, some of it good, some of it not so good. The prospects rankings for Baseball America, I think in terms of, baseball prospect rankings, you got ESPN, you got MLB Pipeline, which I like the best, and then you got Baseball America. They are pretty damn good as well. They released their latest top 100 MLB prospects list. 2 Pirates in the top 10, and they are bookending the top 10 to boot. Connor Griffin, still prospect status. He'll lose that eventually as the season goes along. Griffin, still the top prospect in all of baseball, followed by Jesus Mate of the Milwaukee Brewers. Down all the way at number 10, Seth Hernandez, the Pirates' top pitching prospect. And, Hernandez, the way he's looking down in, low A Bradenton right now, Hernandez, do not be shocked if you see him on a Connor Griffin type trajectory. Maybe not as fast because, he is a pitcher, but do not be surprised or shocked if Seth Hernandez ends up shooting up through the minor leagues of the Pirates system here faster than any of us can expect. He is number 10. The pitchers that he is behind, actually, there were no pitchers in the top 6 of the MLB top 10, or I should say Baseball America top 10 prospects. He is behind Treya Savage, who, pitched in the postseason for the Toronto Blue Jays. He's pretty good. Peyton Toll, who's in the major leagues with the Boston Red Sox, and Cade Anderson, the left-hander from the LSU Tigers, was drafted ahead of Hernandez last year by the Seattle Mariners. I arguably put Hernandez above Anderson and Toll, but, hey, him in the top 10 already, not that bad. Also, Edward Florentino, outfield prospect for the Bucks. He is all the way up in the top 25 at number 21. Congratulations to him. Also, congratulations to former Pirates J.A. Happ and Joaquim Soria, a pair of pitchers there. They were listed in the MLB graphic for potential 2027 first ballot candidates. I doubt either of them get in on the first ballot, though. Looking at this little graphic here, who on this list could get in, on their first try? Buster Posey, I'd think, would definitely be a guy. Todd Frazier, maybe. Brett Gardner, no. Jay Bruce, there, former Red. Jake Arrieta, as well, former Cub. Matter of fact, there's like 3 or 4 former Cubs on this graphic. Arrieta, Dexter Fowler, Starlin Castro. But Posey's the guy that stands out there. Got John Lester as well. Scott Kazmir. We'll see if any former Buccos get into Cooperstown this upcoming offseason. And wrapping up here, speaking of legends, Bucks lost one yesterday. Bob Skinner, who was a part of the 1960 World Series Championship Pirates team and was a coach of the 1979 World Series Championship team for the Bucks. He passed away yesterday, played 9 of his 12 MLB seasons in Pittsburgh, and made his major league debut with the Bucks back in 1954. Believe Skinner, just all around good dude, and saw with Skinner's passing, Bob Skinner's passing. Now Vern Law, Buccos legend, the only remaining living member of the 1960 World Series team. So God bless Bob Skinner. Thoughts, prayers, condolences to his family, and not ready for the eventual day that maybe soon of the 1960 World Series team for the Pirates being completely gone. So bit of a sour and depressing note to end on, but it is news nonetheless. So thoughts and prayers to Mr. Skinner and the rest of the Pirates organization and his family. One birthday, actually, that I forgot to mention here. It is for the Pittsburgh Pirates. I'm just seeing a tweet now because I'm scrolling back through Twitter again. Johan Ramirez, who has been up and down in terms of relief appearances this season. It's his birthday today. So happy birthday to Johan Ramirez. Looking here, indeed, was not sure, but I wanted to, hold off. Indeed, Griffin, Hernandez, and Florentino, the only prospects in the top 100 for the Pirates on Baseball America's list. Didn't know if there was potentially more that I just did not see. Seeing, is there anything else here before we call it a night? Here, again, apologize. There's not too much to talk about. It's going to be like this for the next little while. NFL draft now past us. Penguins, their season over. It's going to be, a good bit before, off-season stuff truly picks up in the NHL. And the Bucks right now, the only team going in an active season. I apologize to the Riverhounds too. Just don't talk about them. I know little to none about soccer. I know you kick it into the net. It's pretty much the extent of my soccer knowledge. That's going to do it here for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank you all for stopping by here on this Wednesday. We'll most likely reconvene here again, wrapping up the week on a Friday. The only reason I can think of that will be live in the intermediate is that if there's some sort of massive news story, or if we, get, banger after banger breaking news story, like Rodgers makes a decision, the Penguins re-sign of Genny Malkin, then we'll, go live for those things as well. But that's going to do it for tonight. I want to thank you all. On your way out, please subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications so that you never miss a thing again. Like this live stream, share this live stream, leave a comment in the comments section after the fact. Want to shout out and say thank you to SESR Dad, Christine, Flacco, Vegas, Derpy, Concepts, all of you guys that were active in the comment section here this evening. Appreciate you guys as always. Last thing, go check out the channel at Steel City SR, Facebook, Instagram, and X. Tune back in here at some point later on tonight for a new edition of SCSR 60. Thank you all. Have a good rest of your Wednesday night. We'll probably be back here on Friday to wrap up the week. Thank you all. Peace. Have a good rest of your Wednesday night. Let's go Bucks. Beat the D-backs.